Yes, and with that, draft is ready. So without further ado, let's go into the draft.
Draft
And
begins.
And
we
what do you
are.
think we'll be expecting for this? Because, there's generally the roamers and laners that we'll be looking for being, the Grace, the Baron. What else are you thinking?
I personally think that the teams probably have done their research. Usually for double band draft, we see a lot of target bands. Like now, we do see a Samuel band coming out from the side of Team Silverboom. As for Celsior, they might want to consider banning out that Grace, if not then Baron, because they are just so strong in the meta. However, we do see very iffy players coming up from Baron so far today. Um, the match between Impunity and ASN, whoever that had the Baron had a hard time. Impunity included, they had a really hard time, and they only won because they managed a backdoor. So we do see a Baron being banned out for the side of Celsius. As for the first pick, I personally think that Silverboom should go for that Lyra, or no, should go for that Grace, and they do.
No surprise there seeing the Grace pick up, but in response, we might just see the Lyra tends to be the second favorite of roamers right now, or they could always focus on going for that Idris that's still on the table, but it's going to be that Lyra, and with that picked up, do you think we'll see an Idris lockout here? I mean, they don't have to do it personally. They do have the next pick after these bans to go through.
Well, they do not have to do it personally, indeed. I'd recommend, if they really want, they could ban out that Celeste, if not, then Castro. They have been really strong, if not, then Vox. Yeah, there you go. So we do see a Vox being banned out, restricting the amount of carries that the side of Silverboom can get a hold on. So the side of Silverboom can ban out that Idris, the next meta carry. They do ban out that Idris indeed. And, Celsior Esports at this point in time, they've got not a lot of options to go for. They can opt for that weapon adagio, which we've seen very often when all the meta carries are out, but they do settle for that Sky.
And that is true there. That with the Vox and Idris picked up, however, it's even limiting themselves even more. I'm surprised they went for the jungle pick second instead of going for a laner. And we do see the Celeste being picked up, which we saw used to great success in that previous matchup between Impunity and ASN. So I wonder what the side of Silver are going to be able to do with that as they follow up with a Kestrel. So it looks like we'll be seeing Kestrel in the lane, weapon power most likely, and Celeste in the jungle.
Yeah, this personally, I really hope that Celsior actually did pick up that Castro as first pick, because Castro is really just very strong at this point in time, and it's a very good flex pick as well. But I guess the side of Celsior Esports is not comfortable with playing on that Castro. We might be seeing, though, a mage being picked up as well, because honestly, they can. It is quite difficult to run double CP, but honestly, if they are going to settle for a laner right now, it just limiting themselves down to say that Ringo, which is a very good pick at this point in time. If not, then Weapon Glaive and Black Feather. Those are very good picks, and those are very good frontliners that can just jump on top of Castro, jump on top of Celeste, and just eliminate them immediately. And we do see a Black Feather being picked up for their weapon carry on the side of Celsius.
Well, I don't think that Black Feather is a bad pickup at all. It has very good synergy with Valyra, with Imperial Sigil, of course, going in. And into the late game, just being able to engage with that Arcane Passage as well. It's going to hopefully work out for them. However, they are going up against that power pick of Grace that we know has been banned out so much, and why it is a first pick for the side of Silver. And followed up by that, they have some good CC with the Celeste as well, being able to use that core collapse and just sit on the back line most likely after they get through those early stages of the jungle and level up fairly quickly. And then this Kestrel, even being weapon power, is going to have a lot of damage output here. So as much as I love the Sky pick, I'm not too sure. I'm a bit split between these two teams here.
Well, you say you're a bit split, but honestly, just looking at the team comms and the draft coming out from both teams, I must say is the side of Celsius do have that little bit more advantage over the side of Silverboom, and only reason because Grace is not the tankiest roamer we know after Holy Shield is down. So if Grace will be frontlining and soaking up a lot of damage coming from Sky and Black Feather, she might go down very quickly. If not, the side of the side of Celsior as well, they can just ignore Grace as the frontliner and just Suri strike into the backlines. If not, the Rose offensive into the backlines, immediately taking out the carries on the side of Silverboom. So I am with you. I personally am a little split myself, but I must say I edge towards the side of Celsior. I think they've got a much robust comp balance as well. They've got a frontliner like that of Black Feather that can put out a lot of damage, and of course they got the constant healing from level 1 all the way to level 8 when that healing is just overdriven and it's just insane. The burst heal from Lyra, if you build a little more health, can go up to say 500 or 600, whereas for Grace, if you hit your level 6 to have your divine intervention, your burst heal will be that of say 600 or so, or 400 plus when you have level 1 on your ultimate. Anyways, since the desk is split once again 50-50, so let's throw it over to our casters as we are jumping right into the folds right now and have them give us their 2 cents. Take it away.
Thank you, Luxuria. It's going to be very interesting to see which healer is coming out on top. I personally quite like the draft coming out from Silverboom. I think the double ranged, double poke comp will be a little bit easier to execute, because what Celsior have to do is they have to engage immediately before Kestrel and Celeste are allowed to poke. They have to immediately dive in with the Black Feather, with the Lyra, and pretty much delete one of the carries. Casting alongside me today is Azurai. So what do you think about it, Azurai?
Hey, I'm back, and I have to give it as well to, I would say, Silverboom here, because I really like the double poke, like you said. I think even though Luxuria did say that the Black Feather is going to be a good front line, there's of course the Lyra in the back line for the burst heal. I think the damage come level 8, once that Heliogenesis is overdriven, plus the I guess the natural spammability of the Glimmer shots from the Kestrel would be, I think, for me, too much to handle for Celsior Esports, or Celsior.
Yeah, it will be quite tough. Grace has picked up a Dragon Blood contract, so I'll expect to see quite a lot of early invade, either in the lane to try and push Blackfeather away, or in the jungle. But we tend to see Grace invade the jungle solo quite a lot. They actually took the mid tree instead straight away, so Grace is going to be in lane, and everyone looks to rotate up. That's Chukin. Took his jungle, level 2, doesn't quite land the core collapse, so that will not be an engage. Silverboom. In fact, it almost is, even with a missed core collapse. That's Black Feather forced to back off.
And here comes Spiritfire. Uses the forward barrage, goes in with the Surge Strike. Resonant Shuriken dangerously low here, but can they get the last shot? No! Oh my goodness, Glimmer shot to actually win the duel and get themselves, net themselves that first blood.
Yes, they went very bad, getting the Glimmer shots onto Sky, Spitfire, trying to dodge away, trying to hide behind the minions, but there weren't any minions to help him out. Hey, Sandy is there, quite low.
Oh, they're chasing him down? So bad, very bad, almost dead, but that clutch. Holy Nova indeed. Pain Sandy going in with the benediction. Can he connect? Oh, that's not going to be the case though, but still. Actually, Retribution rather. But my goodness, that was a clutch Holy Nova.
That was Kestrel surviving with a slither of health, and Highest almost died to the minions actually, but got the Imperial Sigil up to stay alive. This is a big wave that Devil tried to fight under, and now it's fallen under the turret. So I think it was smart from Kestrel to try and fight it, and it was a really good turnaround once Grace came to give the Holy Shield to get the stun onto Devil, and then they picked up the kill. So I think this is definitely a very good start for Silverboom. They're already 1k gold ahead. They're going to go to the jungle on Spitfire.
Hang on, they're going to try to rotate aggressively against Celsior here. They already got the Trent. Devil going aggressive with the Black Feather, but there is the Retribution attacks coming in from Pain Sandy. Void Barrage from Spiritfire though, but he doesn't want to go overly aggressive because he was low on HP, and they can capitalize again from far away. This is the poke comp that Silverboom have, well, built for themselves. Getting them that 2-0. Yeah.
Blackfeather has to dive in, as he's been doing with that Faint of Heart, and he doesn't go too deep this time. Just going to poke out Zebad very bad, and he will almost fall. Yes, he will.
He does.
Lyra gets it with the burst damage from that Imperial Sigil to just make sure that they get the first kill on Zebad very bad. And Devil's doing well to dive into the backline, but it's really hard because if Sky isn't immediately with you and Lyra can't be with you yet without that Arcane Passage,
Hang on,
Devil's kind
Tussle.
of out of position.
Tussle in the bottom side, Russian Shuriken going up against Spitfire, but they're not gonna go overly committing onto each other. Russian Shuriken with the checkings on that Heliogenesis, almost connecting onto Devil, but nothing out of the ordinary too much, but alright, there you go.
Russian Shuriken's going to do a bit of poke with those Heliogenesis, going to not quite land them on Spitfire. Blackfeather is now rotating up, so they're 3v3 in lane. There could be a fight, but it's just going to be poked from both sides. Spitfire's going to back off. He knows the Kestrel's there and doesn't want to get hit by those. Glimmer shots high is going a little bit low. Both teams don't really want to go in, but now Pain Sandy's going to go in as well.
Pain Sandy, aggressive as can be. Defensive bulwark to come out from high first, but almost actually eating a Glimmer shot to put him dangerously low on HP. Spiritfire's right here, but he is gonna get greeted by Pain Sandy, who might have actually gone aggressive onto him, but that's gonna be a no for the meantime. Spiritfire though goes in with the sideline of that forward barrage. Pain Sandy to capitalize, but no follow from Resin Shuriken is so bad, very bad. Still though, the chip damage, the poke damage going heavily into the favor of Silver Boom. High First doesn't have too much energy into his pocket. Series Strike aggressively. Active Cam for the back away. So bad, very low. But the damage, oh, if only had Resin Shuriken, he is so far. No Solar Storm to capitalize. And ooh, even I felt that one. My goodness, man. Alright, so
They were all within.
Okay.
Sorry about that. They were
There you
all
go.
within one Solar Storm of death.
Yeah.
Every single hero, Spitfire, Devil, Highest, they all. If the Solar Storm had landed, it would have splashed onto all three of them, and Master Shuriken would have got an ace. But he's only level 5 now, picking up that level 6, using the Solar Storm. Not quite.
Yeah.
Enough. So
the Hail Mary Solar Storm.
yeah, just maybe they were being greedy, taking the back. The Devil's going to be engaged on tonight.
Engaged upon, but no catch for the meantime. Pain Sandy will be spotting out a trap. Here comes Spitfire from the sidelines. They don't have the ultimate of the Blackfeather just yet, but they don't need it because they got Spiritfire damage for days, and they do take out the Kestrel. Man,
You get the one kill, a good death from above to zone out Kestrel, and then just so much damage to pick up the kill. Master Shuriken's going to try and defend this turret. I reckon he will be okay. Should just about be able to stop it falling.
Series Strike though.
No,
Are
just
they really gonna be able to keep themselves safe under turret?
they will. Spitfire just doing that to be aggressive and just be in the face of Celeste. Like, you know, I'm here. I could kill you if I want to, but I'm not going to because I'm nice. But I'm pretty sure.
Nice guy.
He doesn't want to dive too many turrets.
Yeah, but you do know what they say. Nice guys finish last. So maybe just this one, just this one time.
Yeah, so Silver Boom rotating up the lane. Celeste still only level 7, but they're going to go in with that Dragon Bug contract from Pain Sandy. And Celeste really has to be at the front of the fight to land those Heliogenesis onto Devil, which isn't the position he wants to be. Master Shuriken going to be poked out.
Ooh, nice core collapse there, coming in from Ration Shuriken, but the follow-up from that Solar Storm was a little bit delayed, so he didn't get the maximum efficiency out of that one, but still good setup from Silver Boom, although they couldn't capitalize. Here comes Celsior. 3-man push into the lane. This might be the first turret that they do take, although that wave is pushing ever so slowly, so maybe not.
No, not quite. Silver Boom going to be all back. They did spot, they got vision on Kestrel porting home, so Kestrel managed to rotate back up the lane before anything could actually happen. Spitfire.
Oh, this could be bad. Lyra was actually caught off guard, but they actually turn it around with the help from Devil. The real offensive comes out, he goes in aggressive, and they will go under turret to find the last remaining person here. It's the Grace, Pain Sandy. Here comes High First. Who gets it? The turret! The turret! One more! High First. Will he be able to get it? Paint Sandy, are you that ballsy? He wants to, but
he got bulwarked.
bulwark.
Shot.
That's not gonna connect.
Did
My
connect with the
goodness.
highest, but highest survived with a sliver of health. Obviously, Rastan Shuriken could not use the Solar Storm as quickly as Kestrel could to get that one shot onto highest. Not quite secure the kill, but Pain Sandy with the double kill. He gets the credit for it, but I'm pretty sure that was the turret doing all of the work. It's so hard to kill a Grace. She just has such high movement speed. She can just keep running away from you, and she gets a burst of movement speed when she lands a Holy Nova, which was extremely important to make sure that Blackfeather died to turret first. Then Spitfire wanted a forward barrage, couldn't find it, and turret got the sky as well. So from what was a great fight from Celsior, turned around to be a much more favourable fight from Silver Boom, thanks to that. Thanks to the turret, basically, and there's an infusion from Spitfire, so it's likely that he wants to fight.
There you go. There is already level 9 onto Rastan Shuriken. Genesis is up. Their poke is going to be a little bit more range efficient here. Spitfire with the Shuri Strike rather uses the death from above, but actually doesn't connect onto anyone. Solar Storm dealing the damage. They're chasing him down. They want it. Can they get it? That's the question. Highest actually going for the body block. Will try to keep Devil alive for as long as possible. Pain Sandy taking all the pain from that forward barrage, but Celsior will survive. Live to fight for another day. They do have the Imperial Sigils coming out from highest, so they have their regeneration here for the meantime, but you have to remember, this is the composition of Silver Boom. The poke is real. Devil going aggressive onto the sides, uses the Rose offensive to actually be defensive. Another ultimate from the sky, but it's not going to connect. And Silver Boom actually out damaging and not taking any damage at all from Celsior.
Not taking much damage in return. Celeste did port home to pick up some items. Spitfire's going to go in.
Oh, can he survive? That's going to be a no. Little bit of mispositioning there from Silver Boom, and Celsior will capitalize. Look at that series strike from one wall to the other.
Now it's down to Rastan Shuriken trying to defend this tower. He's doing a good job. There's a Solar Storm. Wow, Rastan Shuriken showing the damage.
Heliogenesis with the core collapse. Can he do it? Can he win for it? The sidesteps. Devil not gonna survive, even though with the shield highest gets actually the heal from that Imperial Sigil. So the 1-for-1 trade without the turret, he actually defended quite well.
Yeah, well played from Rastan Shuriken, doing a lot of damage on the main Spitfire with the poke of Heliogenesis and the core collapse, and then once Blackfeather died, did just as much damage as he could. And Spitfire wants to go in to stop this turret in return. Kestrel's didn't get 4 more Glimmer shots, so won't be able to take this turret down. Kestrel makes it a little bit too early.
Backing away. There should be a 3-man defense already here. Celsior. There's gonna be the poke, the on point coming out from Devil just to thin out the waves here. At the same time, you can see Rastan Shuriken trying to get as much heals as he can, or rather items as he can. Is actually level 10 to the 11 of Spiritfire, so he's actually 1 level behind. But
there's definitely a lot of vision from highest. He's managed to get 2 scout traps in the enemy jungle, whereas Pain Sandy hasn't picked up any yet. So that's really important for Celsior. They know exactly when Celeste is rotating up, they know when Celeste is taking her mid, and so it's really easy for them not to get caught out in lane, especially the Blackfeather, who's just now picked up an infusion. So there's Eve of Harvest Broken Myth on Celeste and Eve of Harvest Frostburn on Spitfire. So Celeste has more damage than Spitfire, but it is easier for Sky to land her poke, and it's going to be a turret falling. Good rotation from Silver Boom, and there's going to definitely be a fight.
There's going to be a fight into the lane. We see a 3v2 situation. Here comes Spitfire for the backstab. There could be Pain Sandy in a very bad position. He's actually caught off guard, but 3-man holding over. Can Silver Boom actually capitalize? Imperial Sigil keeping everybody from Celsior alive for as long as possible. Highest takes in a Heliogenesis, but he will be able to survive Rastan Shuriken in a 2v1. Can he do it? The series strike. So much mobility from Spiritfire, and that's going to be the ace for Celsior.
Triple kill for Spitfire, doing all the work on that Sky. They basically playing extremely well to dodge around the Heliogenesis that Celeste had. It was mainly Blackfeather that baited to Kestrel and took the net baiting attacks, because Devil was standing on top of an active camo trap, or standing right next to an active camo trap, so Kestrel was just waiting for Blackfeather to step forward. Then Kestrel did a trade 1-for-1 against Blackfeather, but then Spitfire was left alive, and we saw Celeste almost manage to outdamage Spitfire. But if this Sky can just Sui Strike and walk around the Helios, Celeste really has nothing except basic attacks. Even though they do scale with Crystal Power, have nowhere near as much damage as if you can land that Heliogenesis Supernova. I think Spitfire is going to have to carry on as he is, managing to one shot. Not quite sure what that was for. They had vision on the tree, and so Kestrel went, "Oh, I'll snipe it. Why not?" There's actually an echo on Grace.
Oh.
They're going to go in.
An aggressive passage just for the initiation, but is that more than enough for Celsior to capitalize on? I think that is. The Imperial Sigil giving so much heal, plus the Fountain as well, and only Pain Sandy to survive. This is not looking good at all for Silver Boom. And Celsior, there you go, Excelsior. That's how you do it. And they get themselves the second ace.
They do. There's going to be another turret and a gold mine going over to Celsior. It was really well played by Pain Sandy. Used the Fountain at the perfect time to keep Celeste from dying. Then used the Divine Intervention just barely to keep Celeste alive. Then echoed the Divine Intervention, but Celeste did fall before the second Divine Intervention could land. One shot, no steal, good block from Blackfeather. And so the Mortal Wound on Blackfeather is so important against this Grace with an Echo, because that's 3 heals that they're going to give onto Celeste. So they're not diving Kestrel at this point, they're diving Celeste, pick up that kill, then they're going to focus on Kestrel. So Bastion Shuriken is being healed up as much as possible by this Grace, but Blackfeather and Sky can just kill her through the heals. And that second, I think if the second Divine Intervention would have landed onto Celeste, that might have turned the fight in Silverboom's favour, and Bastion Shuriken could have done enough damage with Helios to pick up Spitfire first, then work on Blackfeather.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's no mortal wounds on the side of Silver Boom, right?
No, there isn't. Kestrel is not going to pick one up, not going to pick up a Poison Shiv, because similar to Baron, you tend to do Glimmer Shots on Kestrel, which even though they do count as basic attacks, if you do 3 Glimmer Shots on the hero, they're almost dead immediately, so there's no point applying the Mortal Wound. And there's going to be a little bit of a poke. I reckon Silverboom are going to win this if they are allowed to poke freely. A nice Pure Sigil to keep Lyra healthy. And no heroes apply Mortal Wounds from Silverboom, so that heal, even though Grace has a larger heal than Lyra, Devil's going to go in. Notice is going to boots forwards and then back off. So even though Silverboom have a larger heal, Grace with the Echo does have a larger heal than Lyra. Lyra's heal will do more because there isn't a Mortal Wound applied to any of their members. So that's a really good decision from Blackfeather, and I wouldn't be surprised if so bad about the last item is a Poison Shiv. Even though it doesn't work that well on Kestrel, it's just so important against the line.
Actually, I was thinking the same thing, because like all of these clashes that Celsior have been winning just feels like it's because of Highest having so much heal that it goes a little bit, in my opinion, uncontested. But here we go. The fight breaks out. There's going to be the Death from Above coming in from the Sky. She goes into the sidelines, puts out the forward barrage, but backs away immediately as Celsior was trying to reposition to be the front line, while their Highest and Devil were trying to be the front line for him. And Silver Boom, nobody dead just yet. Lots of good setups from the Heliogenesis of Ras and Shuriken, but this could be the Kraken for Celsior.
Celsior did use the Fountain in that team fight. I think Highest may have accidentally pressed it, or may have thought that Spitfire was going to go a lot lower than he actually did. So the Fountain isn't up for another 30 seconds, so I highly doubt that they're going to go for Kraken, because if they try and take the Kraken and then when it gets contested, a team fight breaks out, which very often happens when you try and take Kraken, the enemy will try and either steal it from you or just try and fight you. Celsior wouldn't have the Fountain and still doesn't have it for another 20 seconds. So it's just going to be Celsior backing off and waiting for that Fountain from Lyra. And I think Silverboom will be happy to not be engaged on. They want to poke. They want to let Celeste build up those broken mist stacks, to build up the damage onto Spitfire. That's a one shot is landing, so Silverboom may want to go in. Kestrel's ready, and I think there's going to be a little bit of poke from both sides, but Silverboom are definitely going to win if they're allowed to poke this much in every team fight.
Couple more seconds for the Echo to actually come online for Pain Sandy. There it is. So she's going to be having that double ultimate to be used for the burst heals. Although there's a lot of vision for both of these teams, lots of flyers being bought out. So this Kraken is really a huge momentum shifter for both of these parties.
Yeah, it looks like Celsior just want to push the wave, but that's going to be one shot. Good damage on Spitfire, but he's got an Imperial Sigil, will go back to full health. An ultimate for an A is quite the trade you want to be doing at this point in the game. The Silverboom is going to clear the wave, and I think Celsior could now try and take the Kraken because they're ready to fight if needs be. But they're actually going to camp, and they're just going to wait. But Celeste knows.
Nice timing though. They do know, but looky here, that's going to... Chasing down onto Rasen Shuriken. This Blackfeather is just so aggressive and not gonna be pushed around by the damage of Silver Boom. Looky here, one more left. Pain Sandy trying to do the best they can, but he's just the captain. He got no damage, and that's gonna be another ace for Celsior. Third one, if I'm not mistaken, and they could immediately go for the push, or actually split.
Yeah, they're going to split the push, split fire, make sure this target goes down, and then we'll go and help us take the Kraken. It was a good fight, mainly from Devil, diving into Rasen Shuriken, and even though there was Divine Intervention and Fountain all used to try and keep Rasen Shuriken alive, it just wasn't enough. Devil with this Poison Shiv and Breaking Point just has so much sustain with Lyra that if he gets into the fight and stays in the fight for a little bit, then that means he's going to easily be able to out-damage Rasen Shuriken, who has no defense. He's got full glass cannon with only a reflex lock, now picking up some weapon power defense, which makes sense. Only tier 1, but it will do quite a lot to help against Devil. Whereas Devil with a full Aegis and tier 2, coat of plates means that he can sustain much more than Celeste can. And once your Blackfeather's on top of the carry, Celeste has no abilities to run away except boots, and Blackfeather can just boots to keep up. So it's going to be, Silverboom should be able to defend this Kraken reasonably well. It's going to have to be a good push from Celsior to stop this Kestrel Celeste bursting this Kraken down before he can get those 2 turrets.
The defense is on. Will they be able to deal with this sustained dive and poke composition of Celsior with the Kraken battering in onto the turrets? Or will Silverboom, well, turn gold and try to get the comebacks against Celsior? Could it be? They're not dealing as much damage as they would want to. Oh my goodness, so bad, very bad, caught out. Spitfire has to back away, but he only needs a second to heal back up, and this Kraken is still super healthy. This turret should go down momentarily here. Pius gonna go in aggressive, uses the passage, and here we go. Pain Sandy in the back line. It's gonna be so bad, very bad. The only damage dealer left. Can he actually do it? Devil is right here. This is a Blackfeather, but that Kraken still hitting the vein. It's already exposed. Hyas is right here. Pain Sandy is the only Grace left standing. He's actually just playing ring around the Rosie. And this shouldn't be. It's gonna be GG. Game 1 into the hands of Celsior. Wow.
Hyas picking up the kill on Kestrel with an Imperial Sigil. If Hyas hadn't have done that, if Kestrel had stayed alive, that would have been an easy Kraken, an easy kill for Kestrel, and they would have not lost. Silverboom would have easily been able to turn that around, and Kestrel would have got a kill on Lyra, or at least kill Kraken, so that Lyra wouldn't have been able to take the vein. But Lyra just with the Imperial Sigil to get the kill, and obviously Blackfeather can dive Celeste. We know that, and we know that Blackfeather will be able to kill Celeste when he gets on top of her. With Sky as well, Celeste really had no chance to be able to use that Eve of Harvest, to use the Divine Intervention to sustain, because there was too much damage coming out from Devil and Spitfire. So healing isn't that useful unless you either have the damage to kill them first, or the health and the defense to sustain through with the healing and with defense on the enemy. Celeste didn't have any defense, didn't quite have enough damage to make the healing work. What a game. GG to both teams, and I'm sure I've got 2 analysts that are going to be eager to talk about this game. So without further ado, let's hand it over to Luxuria, and I requested you.
Wow, that game was... And I'm... That went like, Celsior has got a more balanced team comp. So, give yourself a pat on the back, Dennis. Anyways, that game was insane. There was a lot of pressure coming up from Celsior, and it is almost as if... Hello?
A bit earlier on.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can I be heard?
We can.
Okay, so that match itself, it was just amazing. I mean, Celsior Esports came into this via challenges, and they are really putting on pressure onto one of the top rosters, or rather the top 8 teams. Silverboom was in Vainglory Esports for a while now. So what do you think, I requested, or what do you think, the side of Silverboom could have done, or probably changed out, just so they can win out the side of Celsior?
Oh, I think you're correct. First, in when you said that Celsior had a very balanced team comp, and I think that's what really comes down to, and how you say what could they changed out on the side of Silverboom, because in drafting phase, you're right. I think when it comes to balance and what they needed to change on the side of Silverboom, there was really it can work with the Grace in the front line, but it really was just countered by how well Celsior were able to engage, and that kind of shuts down the whole fact that even if you have if you're not being the team engaging with Silverboom's comp, this Celeste has to run away, and we know Celeste is quite immobile, and in that case, easy to jump on. Yes, the core collapses there, but if you're not able to land that off, Celeste is going to be very vulnerable that. And likewise, Kestrel in a way, of course, weapon power Kestrel with the being able to use the mist when they need to get away. But just in that case, you really want to be the engaging team with the draft that Silverboom had, and because they weren't able to, you saw Celsior be able to roll them. And I think with that, it really just came down to also maybe picking up some more defense against that Black Feather. I mean, Rasa and Shuriken on Celeste, and so bad, very bad on Kestrel with not a single piece of weapon power defense there.
Yeah, but then again, damage should be prioritized on all of this. I think Celeste should be changed out, have a glaive or something. That would have made them a little better in terms, but it will jeopardize on the damage at the end of the day. Anyways, I'm sure draft is ready. I'm sure the viewers are ready. So without further ado, let's just hop straight right into draft.
The draft begins.
So coming into this draft, I requested, well, you were saying that, the side of Celsior just had got the better engage with that Black Feather, and of course the lack of defense being built up on the side of Silverboom as well. What do you think? I mean, personally, it is just down to how Silverboom, or rather when you said, you were saying that Silverboom had to find their own engage, had to go in, had to engage, because Celeste just does such a bad job at running away. Problem with that is that as Celeste, really you just want to poke. But then for a Grace, for a Kestrel, you want to be in their faces, you want to fight it out. So I don't know, but personally, I think, that Sky put on so much work as well. Just looking at him, I mean, Spitfire on the Sky was just insane, sitting at 11, 3, and 8. So a lot of work went into that Sky. And one more thing as well was that Lara and the consistent heal, the consistency of Imperial Sigil as versus Divine Intervention.
And that really comes down to the fact that Lyra is able to do healing throughout the match and throughout the fights with that. Whereas unless you're buying an Echo, which most Graces do, it does provide having the Divine Intervention up twice. However, in that case, you have the channeling time that comes along with the Divine Intervention. It is such a great heal, but that's why it's balanced out with that. However, we are going to see Grace picked up once again for the side of Silverboom, and this time Lyra being picked up again for the side of Celsior.
Yep, I think for the side of Silverboom, they might want to, or rather, the side of Silverboom, they might want to just pick up that Catherine just for the extra CC instead of trying to versus heal for heal with that Lara, because honestly, Grace's heal comes in burst, and if you have an Echo, that's a 3 seconds channeling time in total. So I personally do not quite like the Grace being picked up again. Granted, Grace put in a lot of work in the early game, and even in fact for Chase as well, because of your slow on your benediction and of course your basic attack retribution. So we are gonna see an Idris and of course a Vox being banned out. I'm not surprised if they are going to go for the scout. So I was saying that, a Casio will be picked up for the side of Silverboom once again. But they are going to go for that scout, probably placed in the jungle. Again, the side of Silverboom, they can pick into a hero. They can pick up into Scarf, a hero that can dive really hard. And since they do not have a CC, I recommend Glaive would be the best pickup at this point in time.
And you did talk about at the end of that previous match that what did Silver Boom need to do to change, and I'm not sure if Scarf is the right change here. It is a very similar hero to Celeste, and both being mages and being those backline heroes, but how do you think they should close off that kind of team comp if they're going to go for something similar?
Well, so honestly, to answer your question, besides having a Grace, besides having a Scarf, maybe have a distraction comp. Have a distraction in front where you can dive in. But then again, we must consider as well a Baptiste on the side of Celsior, and Baptiste shuts down dive so hard, unless of course if you're Black Feather. So on the side of Super Boom, they can still go for that Black Feather. Oh wow, the amount of CC is coming out from the side of Celsior, but then they can still go for the Black Feather. Black Feather will do rather well into the team comp of Silver Boom in this current stage, especially if they have the Spitfire good combination, and once they're low, Scarf can just clean up with that Dragon's Breath. So I'm looking forward to see a Black Feather instead of Castro being picked up. Black Feather at this point in time is really strong. If not, then Weapon Adagio as well. But then again, Weapon Adagio, it will go down to similar to that of the previous match, when they have double range and do not have one single person or one single hero to go in, dive in for the engage, like the side of Celsior had in the previous match with the Black Feather. So they do go for that Weapon Adagio, like said. So I'm not surprised at this pick, but the problem with going for a Weapon Adagio on the side of Silver Boom, the problem with that is that it is similar to the previous draft, and whether or not this Grace can just tank up in the front lines. The only difference for the side of Silver Boom at this point in time is that they do not have a Sky on the side of Celsius, so Grace might have an easier time not eating forward barrages and just being a front line tanking up the damage. What do you think, I request you? Whose side are you on, the side of Celsius or the side of Team Silver Boom? Okay, it may seem that my buddy have somehow crashed at this point in time. So I will just continue on and honestly looking at the draft coming out from both sides. Okay, production. I need an ETA on when you guys are going in game because feed is not working at all. So I might talk in like 2 minutes into game. So, that is something I do not want happening again. Thank you. Okay. So on the side, the team comp coming out from the side of Silver Boom just looks so much stronger coming into this game, only because of that. Yeah, only because of that Baptiste, only because of that Glaive who can dive straight in. For the engage, and of course Baptiste can stop any potential engage coming out from the side of Team Silver Boom. Whereas on the side of Silver Boom, they have got a very good poke comp, and they've got a lot of sustain with that Adagio, a lot of early game sustain with that Weapon Adagio, and of course the Grace that can frontline a lot of damage. And as said previously, because Sky is not in, because Sky is not here, then the side of Silver Boom may have an easier chance going into the side of Celsius with their particular comp. But honestly, once again, I still side, and if I can put money on the team, I'll go for the side of Celsius because of how robust their team comp just look. With that Lyra, with the consistent heal, with the sustain on Baptiste, and of course the amount of CCs coming out as well. Anyways, we are right into the Halcyon fold, and so without further ado, let's hear it from our casters, Asarai and Mini. What do you think about this game?
Thank you, Luxuria. I think it's very likely we're going to see a poison shiv on Glaive. When you're up against double heal, that's pretty much necessary. And I do agree. I think the comp from Celsior is slightly better just because of the massive CC. But what do you think, Asarai?
For me, I have to agree with you guys as well. It's just, I don't know. There's not a lot of protection for Silver Boom here, aside from maybe just the Holy Nova for the Grace. So it could be quite easy for Celsior to just go dive in, punish, or even just use the crowd control that they have, and then just follow up with insane amount of damage.
Yeah, I do think the crowd control is going to be pretty hard to deal with. But Matsun Shuriken is one of those heroes where you can just kind of stand still, so the Ordained isn't that massive, and actually Adachi managed to pick up that mid-tree, and they want to
tussle. Spirit Fire very low. Pain Sandy cannot. Devil has away using that afterburner. Bad Mojo, good connection, but not enough damage, and there's not a lot of, dodging potential here for Celsior, and that's going to be the first blood, second kill as well for Silver Boom. So good amount of poke damage. Looking to go look for a good start here for Silver Boom.
Yeah, Silver Boom manages to get the kills and managed to get the back camps as well away from Batiste. I think Spitfire would have wanted to win that fight. When you're up against the Scarf, you generally tend to think that Scarf will have the late game. Scarf generally is one of the strongest late game heroes. When you lose an early game fight to it, you don't feel that great. So very bad in the lane.
Oh, he has no mobility. That is an Adagio. Could fly, but it's not. Celsior gets themselves the punish kill, and they're looking for more. Pain Sandy right here to the side. Ordained connecting onto the Grace, and there should be no escape. Grace is not on her side. Oh, the heals. Can he get it? One more connection, and that should be enough. Rasen Shuriken gets actually flanked by Devil. Nice connection with that afterburner. So bad, very bad right here. Spirit Fire saving himself with 1 HP left. A sliver. Bad Mojo just for the BM. And that's going to be, a delayed ace. But still, earlier this on, Celsior coming back. And here comes Pain Sandy. Wanting for more, looks for the blood, but not going to get it just yet.
Celsior will be happy with that. They managed to get 3 kills of their own. And Spitfire managed to pick up 2 of the back camps away from Mass and Shuriken, so that's extremely good. I wonder if we're going to see an all-station current first on Scarf. I highly doubt it. Maybe that attack speed was just for a little bit of farm clear, but that'd be very interesting to see on Mass and Shuriken. So again, we're going to see another invade into the jungle.
Wow, this game has been the game of who can just go aggressive into the jungle. Silver Boom gonna get caught out. The Rasen Shuriken is on that Scarf, but man, no mobility here for Silver Boom, and it's really showing as they try to invade. They're not escaping away from Excelsior.
There are 6 kills over to 2 for Celsior, which is extremely good for them. However, you notice the gold lead is nothing. There is no gold here because Devil only has 10 CS. Whereas So Bad Very Bad on 23 isn't exactly doing extremely well for a laner at this level. You expect around 30 CS, maybe closer to 40 at this point. But Devil with only 11 now, he hasn't been able to be in lane, or if he has, he hasn't been able to farm effectively against this Adagio. He's been forced to just get kills and not get farm. So Silver Boom, even though they're behind on kills, aren't really behind at all on gold. So that'll be really good for this Scarf, because the whole composition is basically around this Scarf. It's a double heal comp, try and keep Scarf alive so that Scarf can do all the poke. Looks like it's going to be Eve of Harvest first on Scarf, not All-Setting Current, which makes a lot more sense.
Are they going to go for an engagement here? I think that's going to be a yes. Pain Sandy's going to go with the Retribution. Here comes Devil once more. Nice connection into the Ordain as well. So there's not going to be any escape for So Bad Very Bad. But Devil on the brink of destruction. Can he get away? Yes, he will. That Spitfire from Rasen Shuriken not going to find its mark for the meantime. An Imperial Sigil just to get themselves sustained back into the lane. And, that's going to be 1-0. As Devil really is racking up the kills here.
Devil already on 4 kills. We're 9 kills 5 minutes in, so it's a very extremely aggressive game from both teams. And it looks like Spitfire's going to try and be a bit too greedy. He's going to probably secure this tree. And nope, actually that's picked up by Master Shuriken. Spitfire's going to try and boot away, but a lovely goof. And is that going to be a dead Spitfire? Yes, it is. And it's just both teams. They're just trying to be so aggressive. They're trying to be the one to initiate, trying to steal some jungle, trying to get the kills, but it's not really working. There's a slight gold lead for Silver Boom, mainly because Scarf picked up that kill, and Scarf is 7 CS ahead of Spitfire. Sober Robad is about 10 ahead of Glaive. So it's definitely good for Silverboom, but they are behind on kills, which is an interesting position to be in, where you're ahead on gold but behind on kills, especially about 5 minutes in.
Can I ask, do you know what's the, like, in terms of kills, how one kill is equivalent to how many?
1 kill is 200 gold when you get first kill, but if you start getting more and more kills on one hero, the gold actually decreases over time. So your first death is worth, the first blood is worth an extra 100, so that's worth 300 gold. Every kill after that is worth, starts off at 200, and if you're on a kill streak, the gold goes up to a maximum of 600, and if you're on a death streak, your gold goes down.
Okay, we'll just finish this conversation, as it looks like Celsior is not going to let any room to breathe with, and they find the Adagio. They're really capitalizing in this composition of theirs that provides so much crowd control. They're not using it defensively, they're not using it in fights, or they're not using it in clashes though, but they are using it for the pickoffs, and it's working so well for them. And nice catch off. Holy Nova is countered out from Pain Sandy, and Rasen Shuriken, here he goes, the ultimate. He's breathing fire into the lungs of Celsior. He gets caught out just by a smidgen. Spitfire, though, survives with a fadeaway bad mojo as well to boot. Highest is here, but no, Silverboom will not be able to capitalize. Even Spitfire, actually, Spitfire, yeah, remains alive.
It does, although the turret may take quite a bit of damage from Seven Obad, because everyone had to brought home, but now he's just going to run away, make sure he gets some items. And that was showing the sustain from Vasen Shuriken. With an Eve of Harvest first item to sustain, and with the double heal, it's just so hard to kill this little dragon. Now Pain Sandy's up to level 6. The Divine Intervention, once Rasen Shuriken gets a little bit low, and then Adagio with the heals, Fountain as well. It's just so hard for them to kill Vasen Shuriken, so they decided to just go for someone else instead. Just get the kill onto whoever they could, and then once one of the healers are down, you have less sustain for your Scarf, and then you can possibly pick up the kill. It was a great Fearsome Shade from Batiste to secure that kill, and I expect to see the Fearsome Shade either used like that again, extremely well to pick up the kill, or to get Scarf out of her Dragon's Breath, because if you fear Scarf, you can't use Dragon's Breath, it will be cancelled. And Celsior look like they want to push a little bit forwards, if I can get some nice bad mojo poke.
Yeah.
Again, both teams want to get a good engage. I think Glaive,
The rhythm here for Celsior has always been for like Devil to start off with the afterburn and then just be followed up by an Ordain, which kind of makes it difficult for Silverboom, because they really have no chance of stopping Devil unless maybe he gets caught off by a Holy Nova, preemptive Holy Nova, but it hasn't happened in these fights. So, well, Celsior, like I said, they have the rhythm, and unless Silverboom can disrupt that, they might need to really look for this Scarf for the poke damage, but it hasn't really shown just yet.
Yeah, Scarf's still level 8 now and going to get a Broken Myth pretty soon, I think. Yes, when Scarf shops, should be able to pick that one up. And so it's really important that they let Scarf poke and they don't let Batiste engage when he wants to. Because if Batiste engage when he's empowered, you're going to take a lot of damage. Whereas if you engage on Batiste when he needs to pick up soul fragments, just like now, you're going to
go like this. They're going for it aggressive onto Pain Sandy, though. This might not be the most optimal target. The Fearsome Shade actually pushes them back into the embracing arms of their turrets. So Celsior, they did what they had to do, but they couldn't, so they back off. Silverboom, though, they're still looking very deadly here as Rasen Shuriken into the sidelines, putting out the Spitfires. Where's the goop? He's going for it. Pain Sandy wants it. Another Ordained to put him in his place for the meantime, pushing away the members of Silverboom with the bad mojo. They're going aggressive. Devil trying to look for an opening here, but without his gap closing skill, he can only waddle in front of his opponents, and that's not good. So right now it's kind of a little, that's never good, but here he goes. Once again, Pain Sandy gets obliterated, but Goop actually connecting onto Highest with the Spitfire, so they gotta back away just for the meantime. But looky here, that's gonna be the ultimate from Rasen Shuriken. Are they really gonna eat all of that ultimate? They're comfortable with it. They actually get the one. Can they go for the third as well? That's gonna be an ace for Celsior. They did lose Highest, but still, if they can capitalize the turret, that's gonna be a lot of advantage for Celsior.
Yep, Celsior are going to be more than happy with that. They waited for Scarf as the last hero to kill, because when you're up against a double heal composition like this, you cannot just try and focus down the stuff. You can't focus the hero they're trying to heal, because it just won't happen. It will take too long, and Scarf will sustain for too long. Dajo wants to steal it. He's just going to go for the kill, actually. And
oh no.
Poor position.
It
Yes, he
was
is.
a poor position, and look at that. He just got pushed into the embracing arms of Spiritfire. What can you do when you get tossed around by the Fearsome Shade, by the Afterburn? Highest is here. Reston Shuriken will go for the face check, or actually for the breast check. There is the flare, but that's not going to be fair. So there we go. 13-4, man.
Wow, 13 kills already from Celsior. They're really trying to take this game as quickly as they can. There's not a massive gold lead, but there's Glaive in the top bush. He's not known about Master It's in a horrible position. There's the offer.
Spitfire is not here just yet, but they don't even need him. Look at it coming out from the Glaive and the Lyra alone, even putting to a very, very low HP this Rasen Shuriken Scarf. Celsior looking for the backstab, or they're just gonna go clear out this Crystal Sentry. Will Silver Boom actually go for the backstab here just for the meantime? There's gonna be a Silver Bulwark into the Fearsome Shade. They get the Crystal Sentry, so they're just gonna be backing off. Mission accomplished, and still, they have all of the control in this game.
Yeah, definitely. They can just take whatever they want at the moment. Looks like they want to fight again. Master Shuriken's going to try and take his mid. They could afterburn. There's no sentry, but he's just going to walk away, not taking away the Trium. So I think, as I said, what you need to do when you're up against a double heal comp is take out one of the healers first, then you focus the other one, then you focus the Scarf last when Scarf is left alone by herself. Because Master Shuriken obviously has not built any defense. He's going for the I can out damage you and then get healed by my teammates, and that is my defense essentially.
Yeah.
It could work, and it will work quite well once Scarf gets maybe another item. I think once she gets the Frostburn, then we're really going to start seeing the Dragon's Breath start just deleting one of the at least all three of them at once, because Celsior like to stand all together pretty close. So they like to stand next to each other, which really helps Scarf when she's using channeling Dragon's Breath, and Spire can go on to many people.
The thing is, he's been using that Dragon's Breath for only the end of the fight when he's the left standing, so it's not really the most optimal of ultimate usage. But like you said, there's gonna be the Glaive to actually have bought up the Poison Shiv, so Mortal Wound 4 days.
Yeah, you want to use your Dragon's Breath at the end of the fight, because that's when you have the most broken myth stacks and it will do the most damage. As you said, you don't want to use it when all your teammates are dead. If all your friends are dead, I guess there is point using it, because you could pick up some kills. Master Shuriken trying to pull it home. Will he be okay?
1v1 situation. Yeah, he'll be fine indeed. Wait. Silver Boom. They're looking for it. This is going to be a frontline Adagio. Look at that. He's just charging into the fight. Fearless against Celsior. But is that the correct answer here, as Devil and Highest are actually just to the sides. They're waiting for the flank maneuvers. Rasen Shuriken is in a bad spot. Where's the passage? Oh! My clank actually crashed, my bad.
Doesn't need the passage. Just going to go over the wall with the auto, and Pain Sandy going to try and run away. Not quite enough to play. Cut the kill, and he will fall to the Adagio actually. Pain Sandy baiting Spitfire under turret. Use the Echo on that Divine Suspension. So bad, very bad. Was already full health. That here wasn't really necessary. Can he get the kill onto Lyra? Highest is so low, but one of basic attacks from Adagio would have done it. But he's not quite
Fire. Alright, I'm back. It's gonna be the Ordain. Oh, he's trying for it. There's the fade away. Bad Mojo once again. Highest was right there just for the safety of the heals, and looky here, Silver Boom got the 1-for-1.
Yeah, they did. It was a good trade. So bad, very bad, doing the majority of that damage on his weapon, Adagio. Even though he could chase down the Lyra, basically force her to run away, and Rasen Shuriken didn't quite die to the Batiste. And then when Glaive came through the wall, it was good disengage from Silver Boom. That's what they need to do, and it's going to be hard. Scarf needs to, I think she needs to either build a little bit of defense or wait until she has more damage before taking these team fights, because it's so hard to execute what Scarf needs to do only having 2 damage items. And like Devil can get on top of you, can pretty much kill you, and if Spitfire's there as well, you're going to die to the bad mojo from Batiste. So it's really hard for Scarf to execute the win condition until she gets that third item when she'll really start to ramp up the damage.
Spitfire was looking for a backstab, but gets spotted out by the flare. Heist is actually going to go in aggressive. Pain Sandy catches him off, although there is a good positioning with that bulwark just for the zoning out. And they're going to go for the chase. Spitfire, there you go, is trying to go with maybe some bad mojos just for the poke. My goodness, I keep calling his name Spitfire for some reason. Actually, Spitfire. Yeah.
It's the name of Scarf's A, of course, Spitfire. And they're going to just gank. I reckon that if they just stay there, if Celsior are patient, they will get the gank onto Scarf. He's going to go for the mid, and they will get it, but they have to be really patient at this point.
Patience
Scarf
is a
point
virtue.
home, and they can do it. They might go for 7 away, but they're going to try. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Oh, he's got booted.
Oh no. Again, my client. I'm so sorry.
Daja is going to go very low. The mortal wound stopping that heal down to 400. And the sentry is there doing a lot of damage. Holy Nova going to land onto 1. Ice is going to use the water to try and chase Soban very bad. Is going to do a lot of damage from the back line. And Glaive will be the first to fall. Here's the ultimate Dragon's Breath on Scarf. Will pick up 1 kill. Spitfire is very healthy. He could try and do the 1v3 plays. Now it's 1v4. There's a sentry. Is he going to try it? It's very risky. So bad, very bad. Is going to chase him down. There's the kill. There's the ace for Silver Boom. And they're going to take this Kraken and probably just 1 turret. And then Daja's going to come down and help with Scarf securing this Kraken. That was a
awesome.
good fight from Silver Boom, but slightly poor from Celsior, really, because they dived under sentry. They let themselves get rooted by the Treant. They let Batiste get rooted by the Treant, so he couldn't help Glaive. And then they just fought right into Silver Boom's hands.
And now they're going to be able to get themselves an uncontested Kraken. So Silver Boom would really want to push into this one because, as you can see, there's the tier 2 and tier 3 still up for turrets. So that's a lot of objectives that they can take. Although Celsior, have they actually passed their prime? They still have a gold lead, but it's not really showing anymore, as Rasen Shuriken with the Scarf is starting to ramp up in terms of the damage. With Broken Myth, like you said, if you can keep the stacks up, then go for the Dragon's Breath, it's really going to be detrimental here for Celsior. Now,
it's very likely Silver Boom are going to just push 2 turrets and back off. That's generally what you see with the Kraken at this point. They want to get that anchor turret. They don't want to go too deep. Scarf has fantastic turret takedown with the goop, as long as you get the goop on the turret. And they're actually, it looks like they're not going to get this second turret. No, Silver Boom won't be too happy with that. That's not a favourable gold lead for them. They gave 500 over per member for the Kraken, only took 300 away for the first turret, and didn't get that choke point turret, which is probably the most important turret in the game to take, because at this point, Silver Boom, as long as they take down Sentry, they can fight in Celsior's jungle. But with that choke point turret up, Celsior can just back off to it, and you can't chase too deep. So Silver Boom, they couldn't really push as well as they wanted to, because all they needed was a portal from Lyra, after from Glaive, ordained from Samuel, and ordained from Batiste, sorry. And they can't really get anywhere near the turrets they're trying to push. They basically had to let the Kraken do all the work by herself.
And now we are in a little bit of a stalemate. We did see Silver Boom look for a lot of damage, or rather put out a lot of damage in these previous fights. So what's going to be the answer here for Celsior? Is it really Devil going aggressive with the Afterburn and then Spitfire to follow up with the Ordained Fearsome Shade? Or is it going to be some new approach that they haven't done in this game?
It could just be Highest with the Arcane Passage and then Bright Bulwark to keep whoever they want in place. And once they've done that, they can just burst them down and then wait for them to try and run away. Then you use your Afterburn from Glaive, Ordained from Batiste. But I highly doubt they'll do much different, considering how good a combination that is, because you put someone in a bad position, keep them there with the Ordained, and if they run away, you can use your Arcane Passage to chase them. So it's going to be all about keeping the right range, so Scarf can do damage, but also that Glaive cannot just freely Afterburn her in.
There is a flare here for Pain Sandy, so they can go a little bit aggressive into jungle and spot out Celsior as they try to maybe go for the wraparound. The Silver Boom are doing the same. Kraken is now just spawning. So this is a pretty damn good objective to actually, or rather contest for both of these teams.
Both
Highest
teams
is
going to do
gonna
the
be
dance
Kraken.
around the Kraken. There's some good vision from Pain Sandy. And it looks like they do want to go in. Devil is just trying to hide. And Pain Sandy doing really well being the front line. Face checking the bushes that need to be face checked. And are they gonna bait Kraken or take it? I reckon they're just gonna bait it. There is vision for Celsior on that Kraken, so they know if it's being taken. Silverboom could just try and push this wave. They're in a good position to do it. I think Celsior are waiting for them, and Silverboom, are they going to try and get this turret, or are they just going to be dancing around, just waiting?
Highest actually got the max range shot on that Spitfire. He actually ate it. But Spitfire, the one on the Batiste is throwing out the bad mojos. There it is, the initiation to boot. There's gonna be the arcing pass or the passage to be able to get away from that one. Oh, the ultimate Dragon's Breath. Will it actually connect? He was so low, so Resin Shuriken did not get the most out of that one. It's gonna be a 2-for-1 trade, and he was actually left alone. No Pain Sandy, no So Bad, Very Bad to actually keep him alive. And that's gonna be 2 members down, 30 seconds on each timer. But I don't think a Batiste and a Lyra can get a Kraken by themselves, so maybe not. Okay, so it looks like Celsior will be pushing. Okay.
Yeah, Batiste can solo the Kraken. It just takes quite a while for him to do so. And they want to get the kill. They want to get the ace, which would guarantee a turret and a Kraken. So that's why they're pushing this. They're probably going to get turret regardless. Batiste is also really slow at taking turrets. In fact, he's even slower at taking turrets than Kraken because he cannot get soul fragments from hitting the turret because turrets don't have souls. And they're going to get this one turret. I think they could have gone for the Kraken. I think they might have got 2 turrets if they were Kraken, but they would have also given away gold. So it kind of makes sense for them just to get that one and back off.
I see.
I think the Fearsome Shade from Batiste was used extremely well in that last team fight. It did fear Pain Sandy out of the Divine Intervention, so the heal was being cast onto Rasen Shuriken. But before it actually happened, Batiste used the fear, which stopped it being used. Also meant that Echo wasn't used in that fight either. So it was really a real trouble for Rasen Shuriken. He had to use just the Evil Harvest and the Fountain to keep himself alive against Glaive. It did work. He did pick up the kill on Glaive, but also traded his own life, which would have not. It wouldn't have. He would have gone anywhere near dying if that Divine Intervention had been casted. So, well done on Spitfire. This hero on the Batiste did extremely well there.
So now it's the Kraken dance. There's a lot of vision for both of these teams. Spitfire wants to go. Look at that. Rasen Shuriken was actually the one who ate the first bad mojo. He's in a very bad spot, but Devil won't be able to go afterburner from that far of a range. There's going to be aggression here already coming out from Celsior, and they want in. There's going to be the usage onto the Fearsome Shade. Look at that split onto Silver Boom, and they find the target that they want. It's going to be So Bad, Very Bad. Rasen Shuriken also in a pretty tight spot here, but the goop damage from onto Spitfire as well as Highest gonna make them think twice, but hold that thought. Devil, he did it on the Blackfire. He's doing it again on the Glaive, sticking onto the most important target. And this should be an ace. Pain Sandy goes for the wraparound, goes for the double back, but he cannot survive, and that's gonna be an ace. Kraken could be a good target here, but it looks like Celsior.
They're going to push for the win.
They're
They've left the Crystal Sentry, so they're not aiming to do any more team fights. They just want to push the turrets. Ooh, Dash is up in 17 seconds. This is extremely risky. I think they'll have a lot of damage. They're going to obviously split the turret. Sentry is going to walk towards them. He's very angry with you. I know he's going to run away. Is he going to fight them? I think he will.
He's doubting himself. Can he do it? Oh, that vein is exposed, and it will be popped. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Celsior winning this 2-0.
Wow. Batiste using that Fearsome Shade. Go back in base, Adagio. You're not going to fight me. You're going to be feared away. Adagio used his reflex block onto the on the Atlas so that he could do the damage, and then Batiste just feared him right back into the base. So good decision from Celsior. We all thought they should take